Hey, Slaw Doggers, Taylor here again, excited to bring you Scott Fisher and Cecilia St. Arnold of Blessings in a Backpack. So, Cecilia, let's talk about blessings. What is the purpose?
Blessings in a Backpack is a national organization, and we do one thing. We supplement children that get the free breakfast and lunch program, and we send home every Friday 2 breakfasts and 2 lunches and some snacks to tie them over to the weekend. So when they come back to school on Monday and have their breakfast, their little bodies are fueled and ready to learn.
Oh, I love that. And Cecilia, what is the impact that Blessings in a Backpack has had on the Southwest Florida community?
It's had a lot, especially in the last 2 years with the hurricane and COVID. We've had a lot more families that really need our program. We had a huge jump, the largest ever in enrollment of students in our program this past year due to Hurricane Ian. We're still scratching the surface. We could feed 50,000 elementary school students in Southwest Florida, and we're not even doing but 7,800 of that.
Hmm.
Wow. 7,800 is still a major impact, which, if we look back at where we started, why don't we segue into that and then give a little bit of data? So, Scott, you actually founded Blessings in a Backpack here in Southwest Florida. Can you tell us how you learned about this really great organization?
Yeah, it was golf related. So, the opportunity to, with some friends here in Fort Myers, to go to Louisville, Kentucky, to play in a golf event there. And I was really kind of surprised when we went to that golf event that we had all these big athletes all around us. I'm thinking, well, what is this event? What's the purpose of that? I didn't go there for a blessings event. I went there for a golf event that I was invited to. And the original founder of Blessings, Stan Curtis, who was a friend of one of our original board members, shared with me that Blessings is about feeding children. It's about Title I schools and the kids that are in free and reduced lunch, providing lunches for them. And I said, well, I wonder what that's like in Lee County. He goes, I don't know. I'll find out for you next week. Well, sure enough, we found that here in Lee County, the need was substantial. The amount of students, the amount of Title I schools and the amount of students there was pretty substantial. So, I reached out to a lot of friends, and we started at what we now call a chapter of Blessings in a Backpack. But we started a group, and look, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just going to raise money and feed kids, and there's a lot of great stories about how we fed kids back then and how we pulled the food together back then, which is much different than it is today. Fortunate with Cecilia and how she's been able to grow the product, not just for us here in Lee County, but for the whole country. But I would tell you that after multiple years, we were finding ourselves as business people in business in the marketplace. The amount of work it took to continue to manage the program was significant enough that I was able to get our original group to invest in a executive director for the group, and fortunately, National saw that as an opportunity as well. And so this was a great example of how some ultimately you spend a little money to get a lot of capacity, and what's happened over the last 10 years since Cecilia's been with us is that we've grown from a couple thousand students or something like that to now 8,000 students, and dare I say that if Cecilia doesn't be careful, she'll be at 10,000 students this year, and be looking for someone to throw her a lifeline because she'll be so busy. But that's kind of the story of how it's happened, and we're really fortunate to be where we're at today.
That's great. So, why don't we, Scott, you mentioned the food. Why don't you tell us, Scott, how you guys prepared the food then? And then, Cecilia, you talk about what it is today.
Hmm. Well, I think what's interesting is one of our first schools was Tice Elementary, and Jim Jim was the principal. What was Jim's last name, Cecilia?
Jim.
Jim was the
Yeah.
principal, and Jim And one of us board members would literally go to Tice Elementary, get in his pickup truck, go to Sam's Club, and we would buy beans and rice in the big, like 50-pound bags, and all this stuff, and we would literally pack these backpacks with rice and beans in Ziploc baggies, and the amount of work it took to do this was substantial. And you know, but things have changed dramatically since then because of the growth of the program and because of Cecilia's focus on finding solutions to the challenges that the program had. The program had a lot of challenges because of how we did it, and Cecilia found new paths to make it better.
So, Cecilia, tell us how you guys have since optimized the food and preparing it for the children.
Well, I came from a corporate background, so the first thing I went when I saw how we were doing things was, I'm never going to have time to grow this program because we're always looking for volunteers every week to pack the food. Plus, we were not paying the best price, pay wholesale, and if you feed more, it's going to cost less. So I met with Cisco out of Orlando and brought him down and showed him what we were doing and what our program entailed, and he got it. Instead of just shipping, SpaghettiOs and cases to our schools, he understood what we were trying to get done. And he knew an FDA food provider out of Columbus, Ohio. And he put us all together, and our FDA food provider was able to put all the meals we needed in one sealed clear baggie, which totally eliminated the need of having 14 or 15 people volunteer every week at 3 or 4 schools. So that was the first year. Now we're in 32 schools and Cisco delivers. But the beauty of going to the pre-pack is Florida piloted it for the whole country. Now we are pretty much 90% of all the food providers for the national organization. I was just telling you a couple of out west programs we have to ship to another person because of cost, but 90% is through Cisco. But the beauty of this program was with COVID. When the world shut down, we didn't, it was like, okay, they're doing grab and go. So I called Cisco. They were able to move all our food to grab and go sites. We had been businesses handing out food. When the world shut down in Lee County for 2 weeks last year with Hurricane Ian, I made a phone call to Cisco and we shifted that food to 3 different companies or pantries that were setting up pop-ups and getting those foods to those kids in those really hard-hit areas that needed it the most. So the beauty of our system works for the benefit of feeding our kids no matter what. And we've been able to keep it to a reasonable cost. We're probably the cheapest chapter. We're at $130 a year. It varies from chapter to chapter. The national organization's up to $175 per child per year, but still, we're still doing it for about $3 a weekend for 4 meals. You can't go and get a Happy Meal at McDonald's for that. So, and all the food we have is shelf stable, highly nutritious, and kid friendly, meaning our kids will eat the food, which is the main purpose.
That's awesome. And Cecilia, just looking back over the 13 years where we started with one school, Tice, which is still a school today in the program, and now we're serving 32 in the Southwest Florida area. That's amazing. And kudos to you, Cecilia, and the team for continuing to expand to serve our children. And remind me, what is the need in Southwest Florida, Cecilia? How many students?
Okay, we've just picked up Charlotte County as a new county, so we were about 50,000. I would add another 10 to 16,000 to that, so mid 60s to 70,000 elementary children that would benefit from our program. I have to put a shout out to our advisory board, who are all very mission driven and really drive the dollars to feed all these kids. As well as we do have a wonderful donor base. We do have a lot of wonderful people that are very blessed in our counties that see the need and are helping us as well fulfill those gaps where we've needed it.
I love that. So, Cecilia, let's talk about Slaw Dog's impact. How has Slaw Dog impacted Blessings in a Backpack over the past few years, and what is the current impact?
We started Slaw Dogs, Scott, and I think we were feeding 50 kids.
Yes.
The last 2 years, you and Lisa just stepped it up on a whole different level. That we're now feeding 185 children a week at Villas Elementary, which is phenomenal to go from that number of 50 to 185 in a matter of 5 years. It's just amazing. I was telling Taylor that Slaw Dog went from this nice, sweet golf event to like a major moneymaker for the charities. And I give you and Lisa kudos. You guys do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
I love that. So, Cecilia, for those that are listening, whether you're Slaw Doggers or those in our community, tell us, Cecilia, how can they learn more about Blessings in a Backpack and how can they get involved?
Everything that they would want to know about Blessings in a Backpack of Southwest Florida is all on our website, which is swfl.blessingsinAbackpack.org.
Awesome. So, those of you guys that are entrepreneurs, leaders, consider a packing event. Consider attending events around the community, volunteer, go tour a school. There's a lot of really great resources and things that you can do to serve Cecilia and our community while we continue to feed these kids and ensure that no one goes hungry on the weekends.
Mm.
So, Cecilia, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be able to serve Blessings in a Backpack. And I had the pleasure of getting to learn Blessings in a Backpack on a deeper level. I got to sit on the board for a 3-year term, and it's just a very special nonprofit in our area. So thank you, Cecilia. So, Scott, for our Slaw Doggers listening, what is still available for Slaw Dog for those that want to get involved?
A lot of kids to feed. Okay, so you heard Cecilia. There's tens of thousands of kids that need help in our community, and with Slaw Dog, we're just very fortunate to be one of many contributors to the purpose. And I know that for Cecilia, I know from being on the board and being active on the board today, that she needs programs that repeat themselves year after year, because that when the end of the year comes, the funding ends, and you got to fund again for the following year. And these schools get used to the support that Blessings provides. So for the Slaw Doggers out there or anybody else, we've sold out all of our sponsorships this year. First year we've ever done it, before September 1. But there are still a couple of things that people can get involved in. We have the hole sponsors on the golf course. So every hole has multiple hole sponsors available. And then we have 4 hole-in-one sponsors this year. The hole-in-one sponsors are a couple $1,000s, but your business can be on a hole-in-one. You could have an automobile there, or you could have a business opportunity there, whatever it might be. But those sponsors are available. And of course, most importantly, it's at the end of the year and end of year giving. So you can identify with how important it is to feed the kids in our market area. For me, the reason why that's so important is because we got to get these kids through school. We got to get them to work. It's part of the whole foundation of our community. When kids are in school and they're learning, they're also going to go to work sooner. They're going to go to college sooner, and that's all part of the process. So, think about your end of the year giving, which is very important for us, and we have a few people that do that. That's made this a very, very special event.
Yes. And those of you Slaw Doggers that feel compelled and are looking to do some end of year giving, you can write that you want that to go to Blessings in a Backpack, and we can be sure that it gets to Cecilia and her team through the Slaw Dog organization. So we appreciate that. And then, Scott, the last thing that I'll note here is we're always looking for raffle items. That's a big thing for our Slaw Doggers. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, one of the ways that we raise money is we sell raffle tickets at sign up. So we ask for the participants to think about raffle items that they could provide to us, And raffle items really range from, we've had raffle items that were as great as tickets to Augusta, to bottles of wine or bottles of booze or boxes of golf balls, whatever it might be. But the point is that um, our golfers know that we have lots of raffle items. At sign up, they buy an arm length's worth of tickets. So you make sure you get the big guy like Mike Cannington or someone like that to buy your tickets from, because you get a bigger arm length. And I think what's important is that the years that we get a lot of raffle items, it's exciting because everyone leaves with something. So it's a nice part of the venue, and it's another way that the golfers can help contribute besides playing golf and besides their whole sponsors or their other sponsorships. They can buy raffle tickets, and it's all part of making it happen.
I love it. So, Slaw Doggers, be sure to save the date for Wednesday, December 13th. If you haven't registered, be sure to do so now, because every year we sell out. Some of you guys know because you get put on the waiting list, and very rarely do we get to that waiting list. So, be sure to sign up now. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact Scott or Lisa Sands, and we'll see you in December.